Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was created by a throwaway account on the Relationship Advice subreddit in 2020. The post is titled, I am F30 and my husband M33 has been cheating on me with my best friend F31 and asked me tonight if I want to be in a throuple. The post does begin with an edit, but we'll go over that toward the end. Okay, let me start out by saying, fuck 2020. My husband lost his job in April and has been home while I've been working extra shifts, making $12 an hour to keep us from going broke. Yes, I've been out of the house more than at home. Yes, I haven't been super active in bed because I am really exhausted all the time from working 70 hours a week, standing on my feet for all 70 hours. I thought he'd appreciate that I am working so we have things like food and a place to live. Instead, he and my best friend have been sleeping together while I've been at work. She lost her job too. They've always gotten along with each other and I've never felt jealous or threatened that they have hung out together, just the two of them over the years. One very drunk night in 2009, she and I did make out, but it was a one-time thing and I didn't enjoy it. I thought I could trust them and that they were just friends. Obviously, I'm an idiot. Enough backstory. I came home tonight and found them snuggling on the couch watching TV. They were in a spooning position, but it was very obvious it was intimate. They didn't panic, but she sat up. Then he sat up. At this point, I felt my stomach turn into a rock, and I felt dizzy. No word of a lie. My body went into some kind of shock. I just walked to the bathroom, closed the door, and sat on the toilet. I started crying after I have no idea how long. I threw up. I heard them whispering but couldn't make out what they were saying, and then they knocked on the bathroom door and asked if I was okay. I told them, obviously fuck not. They didn't backpedal or deny anything. They didn't admit to sleeping together then, but my best friend said we should all probably talk about what's going on. I stayed in the bathroom. We talked through the door. That's when my husband said, okay, yes, we didn't want you to find out like this, but we have been in a relationship since July. He said some more things, but I honestly can't remember them because my ears were kind of ringing and I kept thinking about him saying relationship. This wasn't a fling or a one-night stand. I could maybe forgive that, but a real relationship? Isn't marriage supposed to mean just he and I are in a relationship? So he says whatever, and then my best friend says, so what do you think? I missed everything he said, obviously, so I told her that, and she said, so you missed the part about all three of us living together? After I asked, what? My husband clarified that she would stay on the couch, but they'd keep each other company during the day, and I could be with her too if I wanted. She knows I don't want this because we would have made out more than that one time in 2009, right? I know she needs to move out of her place because no job equals no rent payment. I had told her in the past she could always crash at my place, but I never meant like this. How could she not know that? Is my best friend an idiot? Am I an idiot? I need advice. Yes, tell me that I'm the idiot I am for trusting them, having bad judgment, and not doing my wifely duties. I own all those things, I just need help figuring out my next steps. I don't want to be in a throuple, and I don't even want to look at either of them. It's 3:30 a.m. and I can't sleep and don't know what to do. I feel like I've been used. I don't know if I leave if I'd still have to pay for my husband's expenses because he's not working. This would mean I'm paying for them to have a relationship, which idiot me has been doing since July, and I really hate my life right now. TLDR, all work and no play makes me a over wife and friend. As for the edit, it says, you beautiful people of Reddit, I'm overcome and honestly overwhelmed with the outpouring of comments, support, awards, and messages. I just got home from work and I'm crying, but this is a good cry. It's been a really awful year and yesterday was brutal, but logging on to this has just been the most special thing. I promise to read all your comments and messages, but it's going to take some time, haha. To the people who spent their coins on awards, that's very sweet of you, and I'm surprised that you do that on a throwaway. I want you to know that it honestly touched my heart that strangers can be this caring about a nobody. I don't feel alone like I did last night when I posted, thank you. I still have no idea the best way to leave this situation, but I'm definitely not signing up for a throuple, which I made crystal clear to my husband at 4 a.m. Also, my manager pulled me aside today and asked me if everything is okay because I obviously didn't sleep and looked super gross, I think from throwing up and not eating. I just told him what happened because I couldn't think of a lie on the spot. He took me to his office and searched for our legal bar, legal help, and divorce mediation. He looked me dead in the eyes and said if I tell anyone at work, he'll deny it. Then I broke down sobbing in his office, which was really not my finest moment. So it turns out he has a soul and gave me Monday off, in his words, to get yourself to a lawyer but keep it quiet from your husband. So on Monday, my husband will think I'm at work, but I'll be seeing what my next step should be from a legal perspective. Speaking of my husband, I asked him to give me some space for the next few days and he's on the couch. My best friend texted me a few times today, but I've just left her on read. This was a long edit. I'm going to eat something and sleep now. Thank you for caring, Reddit. As always, if you clearly saw the two just divorce or break up with your partner, assuming you even value loyalty, which I personally do, and it sounds like OP does as well. OP's husband is just a horny ass dude, and I can only imagine how stressed out OP feels having to balance finances and this affair. The guy got way too relaxed and comfortable. Hopefully, when OP leaves him, he will realize that his back is going to be against a wall. Even then, obviously, OP shouldn't take him back. User Kick Back and Relax said, sincerely from the bottom of my being, leave his broke ass with that broke bitch. How stupid can he be, cheating on the sole person who your entire lifestyle is dependent on? Let them rot. It's a blessing in disguise that you found out about their true characters. User MIDIF said, drop the both of them completely. It is totally on them, not you. You did nothing wrong and owe them nothing. Get out, serve him papers, and don't give him a dime. User Honeybun Pancake said, you owe him nothing financially. He broke your vows. Just leave your hard working and you'll make ends meet until you find someone worthy of you. And f your best friend. My advice would be to cut them both out of your life. They're not right upstairs to come at you randomly asking for a throuple. Under this comment, OP said the following, he's literally the only person I ever dated. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, I want nothing to do with them. User Blobfish Blues said, oh sweetheart, no, you're not an idiot, and you didn't show bad judgment in trusting these people. Get that shit out of your head. As another commenter said, get proof they've been having an affair, then contact an attorney. You've been working yourself to the bone to support this asshole and deserve so much more from life than that. And the fact they've shown absolutely no guilt tells you how little they respect you as a person. You owe him no more of your time. I don't know you personally, but you're obviously a smart and dedicated person with more strength than me just by working 70 hours a week to stay afloat. You didn't flounder, you did what you had to do to survive. It's okay to be hurt right now, to cry and want to break things, or even stay in bed for days, but don't let this become your new reality. You've shown astounding strength once, and you can do it again. User Honey Dipped Sassy Lips said, babe, he said you three, but she'll keep him company during the day, meaning these bitches have zero intention of working. They only include you in this shit show because you are the only one employed and paying the bills, so they can play imaginary I'm stuck stepbrother. Basically, keep paying for us while you work endlessly, and if you're lucky, his side bitch, aka your EX bestie, will eat you out on occasion. Cool, cool. No bitch, that's not cool. Control-Alt-Delete these into oblivion. I don't understand what's there to contemplate, unless this is appealing to you. Then may I advise you to invest in a dental dam? User JQuest303 said, wow, I'd feel totally taken advantage of and betrayed if I was you, like I'm sure you do. I'm so sorry that you're in this position. You all have a lot of work to do if you want to make this work. It's a seriously up situation, but I don't know how you could ever trust either of them again at this point, let alone let her move in and you be the only one working to support the three of you while they just all day. I distance myself from both of them and get on with my life. About a month later, OP gave us an update. First and foremost, I want to thank the thousands of people who reached out to me in comments on my original post, in messages, and in chat requests. I've been super overwhelmed in a good way by how many people actually care. Some of you extended sympathy, some shared similar stories from your own lives, some offered me jobs, and some offered me distractions and even pizza. Pizza, I didn't accept, but thank you for the offer. I think I received over 10,000 messages in total, plus the awards. I am so sorry that I didn't thank you individually for the awards. I was raised better than that, but between work, sorting out my personal life, we will get to that, and just the total number of people I'd need to reply to, I just couldn't. Also, I received exactly 9 negative messages out of over 10,000. Just 9. And 7 of them were basically encouragement to pursue the throuple lifestyle. Only 2 out of over 10,000 people actually wrote something really offensive, and what they wrote wasn't even that bad. Plus, one of them apologized and said he was just trolling. I'm saying this because I think it's important, especially now with all the anger in the world, to know that people can come together, show support, and be kind. 1 in 10,000 people was an asshole, meaning 9,999 out of 10,000 people are actually decent human beings. I keep watching the news and see such a lack of kindness, but I know from my experience this past month that people from all over the world, with different lives and political views, can show compassion and empathy. I wish I could share that wonderful feeling of receiving kindness with everyone. I figured I'd answer the major questions I received, and if I leave out one of your burning questions, then I'll answer that too. I even learned some fancy Reddit formatting so that things are easier to read and not just one giant wall of text. Did you expect to get Reddit famous? Okay, so I never expected my post to get as much attention as it did. In addition to being on the front page of Reddit, it made its way to podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and I even got a couple of requests from paying publications to tell my story. I am so glad that I used an alt, haha. I have at least been able to put the post on the back burner while I try to sort out my life. In real life, I'm a quiet person and hate attention, so I'm thankful that I was able to keep things anonymous. Well, mostly anonymous. A couple of Redditors messaged me and figured out who I am, and of course my husband figured out I posted. Important. If anyone comes forward and says that this was their post, that person is lying. I will never reveal my identity. Even the offers of being paid to come forward didn't and will never change my mind. People who know me in real life have kept it off their social media too, which I appreciate a lot. I'm a private person and want to stay as anonymous as possible. Are you getting divorced? Yes. 1,000 times yes. He cheated on me and tried to manipulate me, and I did not sign up to be married to more than one person. I don't want that for myself. People in the poly lifestyle very kindly messaged me and told me that what my husband and best friend did was not how it's done in the poly community. Poly is done out of love, trust, and communication. None of those 3 things happened here. So yes, to divorce. Did you meet with a lawyer? Yes. And I'm really glad that I did and learned a lot. It turns out that the way divorce works where I'm from is it's a process that you have to follow and can take about a year to finish if it's uncontested and longer if the spouse objects. Right now, after some paperwork, there's a lot of paperwork, I'm separated, which actually happened really quickly. It turns out being working poor helped a lot with this, haha. Having no assets to split up made things much easier. And since before COVID, my husband and I basically made the same amount of money and didn't have kids or pets, it's even easier. But my actual divorce is going to take a long time and lots more paperwork. My husband is not contesting the divorce. Did you get your husband admitting to cheating on text or voice? My lawyer said it doesn't matter. I live where it's a no-fault divorce, which means cheating makes no difference at all in how things play out. Everything just gets split down the middle, whether or not your husband is a piece of shit who cheats on you with your best friend, and whether or not you write on Reddit that your piece of shit ex did that, as long as it's true. Not that I'm bitter, okay, I might be bitter, but my therapist says it's good to express my anger. Are you expecting to get everything in the divorce? No. The law is the law, plus there's nothing to get except some family keepsakes which I took with me. It was my mom's jewelry, which I got after she died this year. It wasn't worth much, but my lawyer says there's an inheritance provision or something under the law. Otherwise, we just add up the value of everything right down to our socks and split it 50-50. In marriages where one spouse makes a lot more money than the other, things like alimony and support come up, as well as child support if there are kids. So my situation is thankfully simple. We don't have much anyway, so basically we are leaving each other even but with some emotional baggage. Why don't you get a better job? $12 an hour where I live is better than minimum wage, believe it or not. I think I will have news about the job situation soon. One thing I learned from some of the messages from random Redditors is that managers want to hire hardworking people. I have the confidence to apply to other jobs now, but I'm not accepting any offers from Redditors because of that privacy issue. What's the deal with your boss? I thought my boss was a terrible human being. It turns out he is a decent person and he helped me through this, which I mentioned in my edit to my original post. He has also agreed to be a reference for me for the new job, but he is trying to get me to stay on because I work hard. Do you talk to your best friend anymore? Haha, no way. Not since that night and not ever. I blocked her and refused to talk to her. She showed up at my place and I ignored her apology. I have no time for her bullshit or backstabbing. She lost our friend group too. Once they found out, I received so many stories from them about her backstabbing them over the years. This was all news to me, but let's just say we each had stories that showed her to be untrustworthy. I still think about her and wish things could be different, but she broke my trust in a way that can never be fixed. She and my husband still talk and are in a relationship. They have each other just like they wanted. Will you kick your husband out? No. I moved back home with my dad about a week or so after my first post. My mom died earlier this year and he's been hurting from that. It just made sense. It's nice to be home. My mom was really a perfect human. She was the kind of mom everyone wants, and she died suddenly this year from a brain aneurysm. She is the person I would have wanted to help me through this. My dad isn't my mom, but I'm learning that he was kind of the silent partner who was 100% the same as her in terms of being supportive. So while I never expected to be living in my childhood bedroom at 30, it's actually kind of exactly the perfect place for me to be. Plus, my dad makes great baked chicken and always has ice cream in the freezer. For the moving out part, my friends came over and my dad did too, and we all moved my stuff out at once. A lot of Redditors reached out about the unspoken dangers of ending a relationship and the ex getting violent when they feel they are being abandoned. My husband is a shitty human for a bunch of reasons, but he never got physically violent with me. However, I decided that being safe was important, so I called in favors from my friends. It went fine, and my husband ended up leaving during the move to make things easier on everyone. Why did you call yourself an idiot and make things your fault? Because I'm stupid? Haha, I think it's just what I always do. I own up to things even when they aren't my fault. Which leads nicely to the next question. Are you in therapy? Yes. A lot of you reached out and suggested it. Since this is anonymous, I will be super honest here. Between losing my marriage, best friend, and mom, and working insane hours, I had a breakdown. There's no other way to put it. I was in crisis and probably still am. I'm still not eating great and still making a lot of mistakes in how I talk to myself, calling myself an idiot and stupid. I get nightmares about my mom that wake me up and then I can't get back to sleep. I cry. When it comes to affairs, it always sucks that it happens, but if we're trying to look at things optimistically, just be happy that you didn't find out even later. I hope OP can move on from this treatment eventually and find peace. Getting cheated on is one thing, but to have your best friend be the AP to your partner's affair is just heartbreaking. And on a side note, I'm glad that OP gets to spend more time with her dad. It's never a bad thing to get to reconnect with family, and as adults, you don't often get those opportunities. This next post was made in 2015 in the Raised by Narcissists subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, Mom 53F is furious because I, 29F, stole my sister's 32F boyfriend 33M. My sister, Olivia, and I have always had a strained relationship. Growing up, she was always the golden child, while I was pretty much ignored. Something broken, must be me, I'm the youngest. Olivia took my things, what am I complaining about? I have plenty of things as it is, etc. I have countless examples of being treated unfairly growing up and could write a book, but I'll put in a few of my favorites, just so you can get some sort of idea where I'm coming from here. My sister's birthdays were always huge affairs with cakes and balloons, inviting the whole class and family over, etc. I never ever even got a cake. I got a card with $25 every birthday, just sat there on the kitchen table. Olivia got piles of presents that were taller than her. Over exaggeration, but you get the point. I asked for a party for my 16th and my mom flew off the handle, telling me that she wasn't having my piece of shit friends stealing shit and ruining the house. Even though 2 years prior, my sister's friend stole $30 from my mom's purse, Olivia still got huge birthday parties every year. Olivia had friends over one night. I was never allowed to have my piece of shit friends over, while my parents were at a wedding over the weekend. They got drunk. I was never allowed to drink, trashed the house, and even took out my dad's car, while drunk, and got it scratched. Who got the blame? Me. Apparently, I should have called, and it wasn't Olivia's fault as she'd just been drinking with friends, and she can't be blamed for things she did while drunk. Mom was livid and told me that every time they have to leave for the weekend, I have to go with them now, as I can't be trusted to behave in a mature manner. I finished high school with excellent grades, mainly A's, but I had one C. My sister got D's and one C in everything. My mom called up everyone in the family to celebrate her barely passing all of her classes and had a party for her with all family and friends. I brought my grades home and got, A C. I don't know what I got my hopes up for. She walked out of the room and said nothing further about it. I attended a family barbecue with my boyfriend at that time, Damien. It was pretty pleasant, regardless of my sister's petty jabs throughout the evening. Some money went missing and everyone blamed my boyfriend. My mom threw wine over him and went to physically attack him, screaming, "You two are just as bad as each other." We left and I apologized profusely, extremely embarrassed in front of my entire family. 2 weeks later, my sister came clean and admitted she took it and was planning on paying it back. My mom messaged me, telling me so in a casual manner, and added for me to cover for her because she didn't want her to be embarrassed. No apology, just more BS. My mom and Olivia are both big women. They always have been. I've always been slender, but perfectly healthy, and have always been made fun of. My mom thinks it's appropriate to draw me up a diet plan, which is in no way healthy. When I don't follow it, she tells me that I have to, or my sister won't speak to me anymore, as I make her feel insecure about herself. I say no way in hell. My mom tells the rest of the family I am bulimic, and all hell breaks loose. I managed to get a part-time job in high school. My sister constantly made jabs at me for working as a burger flipper, saying I was pathetic, etc. I should add here, she always got an allowance of $20 a week. I got $5 a month and was told I'd get more when I learned to spend responsibly, even though I'd actually saved up $600 for driving lessons by the time I finished high school. My allowance stopped when I got my job, even though she still gets $20 a month from them. When I eventually said back, "It's more than you'll ever do," she burst into tears and told my mom. Mom came back in and slapped me in the face. She then called up my workplace and told them God knows what. The next day, I was told they'd have to let me go. My mom has acknowledged this and has told me in the past I was an accident, and that she and my dad didn't want any more children. As you've probably gathered, my relationship with my family as a whole is strained. A couple of years ago, I started working for the same company as Olivia. We weren't working closely together, but would run into each other sometimes, as it is a pretty small building. She spread petty rumors around the workplace, saying that I'm bitter she was our parents' favorite and that I was stalking her. Most people just thought she was nuts and laughed it off with me, though a few people actually believe her, and it makes working with those people pretty awkward. Well, in 2011, Jacob joined the workforce. He was a nice guy, and we eventually became close. He was shocked to learn that my sister and I were even sisters because of how different we looked. Now, my sister laid it on really heavy with Jacob, had flowers sent to his desk, asked him out on countless dates, and sent him nudes via company email. She was disciplined for that, but Jacob, being the sweetheart he is, told them he was fine so long as it never happened again. Jacob has always been very clear with her. I don't think he could have been more clear, to be honest. He showed me messages between them where he'd flat out say, "Olivia, I'm not interested. Please stop this. You're making me very uncomfortable." To which she'd reply, "I always get what I want, baby." I never expected to fall for Jacob, but eventually we became more than friends and went on dates. I told him about my past with my family, and he was appalled. He stopped talking to my sister altogether and said if she continued behaving inappropriately towards him, he'd go to HR with all the evidence that he'd received over the years. She stopped after this, but still had no idea we were dating. We kept our relationship a secret from her for 3 months to avoid the fallout that was sure to result from this. When she found out 3 days ago, she stormed right up to my desk and screamed at me, then proceeded to storm off out and wasn't in the next day. Yesterday, she left everyone a long 3-paragraph email telling them how I'd always been obsessed with her life and now she'd stolen her boyfriend. She calls me a bunch of super appropriate professional things before closing with, "I'll be in to collect my things on Monday," so I assume she's quit. No one at work has heard anything from her since. The past 3 days have been hell. My mom found out, and I'll spare the details of her fallout, but it wasn't pretty, long story short. I stood up for myself, she didn't like it. Waited until I went to go to work the next morning, waiting outside my house to throw what she claimed to be water over me. I'm more than ready to cut these people out of my life. Any steps I should be taking besides telling them I'm done with them? Thanks for reading, this is all over the place. TLDR, family is insane and I need advice for cutting them out of my life. Update. I went to cool off, I was livid when I posted this, only to come back and be overwhelmed by the support, kind messages, and comments. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time to read this through and leave advice / suggestions / information on how to proceed. It really turned my day around. In response to comments saying this is fake, I don't blame you. It's a mind-boggling situation I still can't get my head around. I'm still unsure if I want to take this down a legal route, but I'm worried I won't have much of a choice. I know my mom won't just take a restraining order lying down, and as much as I'd hate to get her into trouble with the law, at this point I'm willing to do anything to get her out of my life. My boyfriend is staying with me until we have this sorted to avoid another water incident. I'll update again if I'm contacted by my mom or sister. User Getting the Kid Out said, "Oh boy, you belong here. In my opinion, you can just cut off contact without an explanation at this point. They're f***ing nuts. Don't be surprised if this makes them more insane for a while. I learned the term extinction burst here." User D-Jerk said, "Don't forget that when your mom inevitably says that she can't believe you would treat family this way, remind her that you don't want the kind of family they provide." User Ku Susie 13 said, "People will try to make you seem like a coward if you don't go and talk face to face about cutting them out, but it's just because they don't know how narcissistic people work. So if you don't feel like dealing with the screaming match, especially since she has a history of assaulting people, just write an email, letter, or Facebook message and send it. You can even keep a copy of their response if you do it this way, which can be affirming if a ton of family or family friends try to guilt you into leaving. People like this contribute absolutely nothing positive to your life and will drain you more than they ever give you. So go forth and cut those parasites." User, most likely at work, said, "Document every last thing. Security cameras can be acquired for future water incidents. I imagine if you search camera in this sub, you will find suggestions regarding which to buy. Your family is toxic and you need to get that cancer out of your life." Part of me hopes she comes back to work like the narcissist. She is expecting everyone to just move on with her reality that she didn't throw a tantrum and not show up for days, expecting to still be paid because she gets everything she wants. And then management bursts her bubble and she's out on her ass. User Professor Lexus said, "I always find it funny when people are so unbelieving that people like this mother and sister exist. And moms are manipulative. Wretchedly so. My maternal grandmother bullied and shamed one of her daughters, my aunt, terribly all her life and sabotaged any plans she had to lose weight and find a boyfriend. Also, my grandmother had insurance that one of her children would never leave her. My own mother was frantic, trying to manipulate my sister into being the person she wanted her to be, usually through chivying, insults, and blatant lies. All of it geared at destroying self-esteem and making her pliable. Because that's how parenting works, right? By destroying a person's soul to replace it with some facsimile of yourself. As if children weren't people, but mindless golems instead." User Kettlebell Fetish said, "I think you really need a restraining order. The fallout from NMOM screwing with you at the office could very well make you lose your job. They won't tell you that's why, but no one wants to deal with a crazy family, even by proxy. Narcissists have their own reality. In NMOM and NCIS mind, you've stolen your boyfriend. I see this escalating until either the police intervene or someone gets seriously hurt. I'm sorry, this is way past reasoning or therapy. You've hit them both in the ego, only in their N-world. This is going to get really ugly.